shape that glass is a wooden block. It seems a bit counterintuitive that we would use a wooden block with 2,000 degree glass. But that wooden block is soaked in water. So we soak the blocks in water 24/7. When we touch that 2,000 degree glass to that wooden block, it sucks the water out, turns into steam, and it rides on a little steam barrier. So when he takes that block away, you can see the steam rising up out of that block. So a little puff of air, and now we've switched tools. Some of you in the front may be able to have a good glimpse of that tool. You can see the steam off of that one. Can you guess what that is? Teflon. Teflon would be really bad to breathe. This is newspaper. About 8 to 12 sheets of folded up newspaper. Yeah, that's what we got here. About 8 to 12 sheets of folded up newspaper. Same principle, right? We soak it with water. The water touches it. We have that steam barrier, glides on the layer of steam, and that's the closest we can get to shaping glass with our bare hands. So it's a very unique tool. It's very versatile, and it's also the cheapest tool that we have as a glass maker. In fact, G. Brian picked up this paper at a little coffee shop the other day, so we got it for free, minus the cost of the coffee. And I believe that is the Brooklyn Eagle. Brooklyn Eagle. Anybody read the Brooklyn Eagle? One person reads the Brooklyn Eagle. Gee, you picked up a good one. Well, that was exciting. So Eric got all of that glass out of the furnace, and he said, I don't need all of this. He said, I don't want it to be this big. I want it to be a little smaller, so we can control the way that our glass is inflating by just using little breaths of air, shaping, inflating the glass back and forth. So he's shaping the glass right now. That's a steel table. We call it a marver. It comes from the French word for marble, because marble is the traditional table, is the traditional surface that they would have used. But marble can crack and break when you expose it to a lot of high temperatures if you put a lot of hot glass on it. So we find now that just mild steel is much more effective. We use that as a heat sink. We can shape and cool the glass very effectively. So here we go, getting some assistance from Helen. Really inflating that glass now. It looks like Eric is making a really big Christmas light bulb, right? Yeah, the old ones. That's what we have at my house, is we have the old ones, the big glass ones. And I believe Eric said he wants to do 4 of these. So he's going to add 3 more of these bits, all for decoration, right? Yeah, all for decoration. So he's going to add 3 more of these bits, and it's up to G. Brian. It's his job to bring all of those bits pretty much the exact same size, pretty much the exact same shape, pretty much the exact same temperature. So G is really going to be the unsung hero. So the unsung hero. So you put the first one on, and then you can flip 180 degrees to the other side. That's where you put the second one on. And it's a lot easier to divide things in half that way. So now when we put the next 2 on, you can see the middle in between those 2 bits, right? There we go, 2 nice bits. And you can see, of course, this transparency that started to show through as that glass got a lot larger. So that's that really condensed glass inflating and getting thin. So we have some other pieces of glass up here. I could take this piece. This is a beautiful piece that G. Brian made the other day. I could just take this and I could break it. No, don't do it. I could break it and show you a cross section. And the cross section would be a really thin layer of color, and the rest would be clear. So the rest of the thickness, most of the thickness, is the clear glass. So that's that density that I was talking about in the color. Nobody ever wants me to break it when I talk about it. Do it. Question, yeah. Yes. Right, so it's called a blowpipe. The blowing was fairly subtle. It happened pretty quick, the inflation. But Helen was blowing through the end of the pipe there for a moment. So Eric was shaping the glass with the newspaper and it was getting larger. Helen was on the end of the blowpipe. She was blowing air through there. Yeah, right? You were watching the glass. You missed that part. It's easy. That's because the glass is mesmerizing, right? I want to watch the glass. But one of the other things is that a really great thing to watch when you're watching the glassmaker is to watch their hands. Especially that left hand, that turning hand. That's the driving force. That's the motor. Without that muscle memory, there's really no glass making that would happen because that glass would fall on the floor. So yeah, it's really easy to watch just the glass expand and then miss some of those other really subtle things. Yeah. How does what? How does the newspaper provide enough protection? Yeah, it's just several sheets, so about 8 to 12 sheets, and then we fold it several times. So super secret glassblower origami. It's pretty much, I'll tell you because I trust you all that you're not going to go tell us our secrets. But we basically take 8 to 12 sheets of newspaper, fold it in thirds, and then fold it thirds again. So it's quite a thick amount of newspaper, and then because it's soaked in water all the time, when it's touching that material, it's never getting much warmer than a cup of coffee. So here we go, another drop, letting some of this glass run off onto the bottom. This is going to be a foot, and then we just cut that glass free. So those are some, yeah, so the hot glass, the really hot fresh glass fuses to other hot glass. So hot glass likes to stick to hot things, so that fresh bit of glass goes on to the bottom. And now it's permanently fused, so it's not going to go anywhere. So they work together with 2 paddles. But they added a lip wrap, a little bit more clear glass right around the very top. That's a technique that machines cannot do. So it's a very unique process to handmade glass. So if you see that somewhere in handmade glass, for like an antique store or something like that, that's a good indication. And you can also look at the very bottom of the piece. There's going to be a little mark, typically, where they break free this punty connection. But if you're looking at the bottom for that little punty connection, you're probably going to see the price tag, which is going to be a good indicator as well. Yeah, you have a question? Yeah, so our pipes and then our tools are stainless steel. Yeah, they're 4 conductors of heat. So that's what is allowing us to have 2,000 degree glass on one end of the pipe, have our hands in the middle pretty comfortably, and then be blowing on the other end. Now, all of our tools, they are handmade. It's a pretty niche market for glass making tools, but we have tools from all around the world. Different glass makers, tool makers make tools all around the world, and they're an extension of our hands. They're helping us with our craft, with our art. So every glass maker is pretty particular about their tools and which tools they like and where they order their tools from. But I think I personally have tools from maybe 4 or 5 different tool makers around the world. But I also want to point out, just next to Eric's left hand, this is a good segue between both of those. You can see that tarnished area. That's the really hot area of the pipe. So that's where now look at where he put those bits, those additional parts of clear glass. Those stretched a little bit further, right? There's more weight, so they stretch further and really make these big, beautiful points on the bowl. So you saw how big that got. That's not going to go back into our reheating furnace, so we're a bit limited by the size that we can make things from our equipment. So we have to slowly cool this down overnight. It's still over 1,000 degrees. And if we just break this off, set it on the ground, it's going to crack, it's going to break. So breaking this free from the punty, making sure there aren't any sharp spots from where that punty connection is. Holding it up, and away it goes into our annealing oven where it will slowly cool overnight